Welcome back to On the Nose, a podcast where myself and Thad Taylor look back on all of the goings on in terms of thoroughbred action from the big Saturday just gone. And there were a whole lot of things going on last Saturday, Thad. Welcome back.
Yeah, thanks, Paul. Well, probably not the biggest Saturday, just because of the abandonment at the back end of Matamata, which obviously was a shame, but nothing could be done about that. And heavy tracks at both venues, which, what do we do with the form going forward? Do we just screw it up and put it in the bin? There's a few things to take out of it. We'll take out of it what we can. That might not be a heck of a lot, but what we can do is review the results that we had anyway.
Okay, let's start with Matamata, seeing as we didn't get through the whole card there, and there were a number of scratchings as well due to the conditions. So there were some pretty small fields. Let's start with race 1 and Smart Tip with Ashley Strawbridge. And I'm guessing that 4 kilo claim came in very, very valuable in the first at Matamata.
Yeah, we saw Sage Jurek. We'll get to her in a minute as well with the 4 kg. So, it's back to the middle of winter in a lot of respects on Saturday. And, Smart Tip on the quick backup. Stephen Ralph sort of saying they'd been a bit unlucky, and obviously the quick backup worked here, and Smart Tip certainly didn't run bad at the start prior. I think it was at Tauranga where it finished third. Yes, it was. So, she won well in the end, but they were all on Loverbeal. Opie Boss and Tiaki to start the day was where they wanted to be. And, sometimes finding the moves in these markets as well is quite tricky when you're trying to work out the deductions. I've done as best as I can around that. Smart Tip never really budged. She was sort of 5.50, and sort of right in that market. Loverbeal was $2.40 into $1.95. That was minus 100,000. The result around Loverbeal. So,
even with the scratchings, that's a significant move.
Yeah, it is $2.40 into $1.95, and to be losing 100,000 as well. There's plenty on her. Loverbeal, but second up. I read the Stipes report, just didn't handle the track according to Opie. It's the obvious excuse. Not to say that isn't the case, of course, but, you could sort of pick what they'd be saying around Loverbeal, and that was right. Savvy Donna was first up. It ran second for Ray Fleming. It was 7 into 5, an early move back to $7 with the money for Loverbeal, and kudos for the Murdochs. Completely went the other way. It was $5.50 out to $8.50. No money at all, and ran accordingly, or ran as the marketplace expected to a degree. So, but
sounded like a tough start for punters.
Yeah, it was a tough start. Plus 60 on Smart Tip because all the money was on Loverbeal.
Race 2, and as you mentioned, Sage Jurek with the 4 kilos gets I'm Unstoppable home. I'm guessing not the worst result?
Not the worst result. There were worse. And they nearly nailed it in this market. I'm Unstoppable. We know how good she is on her day, and look, Sage just got her running, and she didn't stop. So we can pull out all the name puns.
It was like, she's going to fall in a hole. So.
Yeah, I was
that
like,
didn't happen.
I was like, she's gone out too hard. Here they come. The 400 meter mark. They've got her. They're gonna round her up.
No, she judged that to perfection.
Hey,
fantastic.
Fair play to her. Congratulations to her with her first win in New Zealand. Look, she's a mare that always has support. O'Sullivan Scott, they're a stable that are well backed, even though it was 6 out to $8. Was only plus 15,000. I'm Unstoppable. Money Penny was a big mover, 5 into 4. I say big mover. It was minus 60,000 and a short in a Money Penny, as was Latrell.
Yes.
Be marking down Latrell. She competed in a Cuddle Stakes at a last preparation and was 21 into $10 and minus 40,000. So they were the two they backed. I think they ran second and third in the race. So again, they weren't far away there. Age of Discovery was steady in the price and well backed as well. So I'm Unstoppable was a small winning result, plus 15.
Race 3, and it was a sweet result for the bookies. Muscovado getting home with Darren Dennis in the winner's circle again.
You just come up with these yourself, don't you? It's just off the spot. I some of the Muscovado sweet result, very good. Look, they questioned the turnaround in form in the Stipes report around Muscovado, but just got the track conditions to suit. And he's been competitive in races like this in the past. So, look, it was 31 out to 41, back to 35. It did have a bit of long shot support, but it was plus 25,000. Now, here's the conversation of the day. How do you say the favourite's name? Well, up until
Sonoran?
No, you don't say Sonoran, you say Sonoran.
Sonoran.
But then there was arguments. The trainers calling it Sonoran. The owners want it called Sonoran. I was calling it Sonoran.
Something in between.
BP told me to call it Sonoran. And George went with Sonoran. Anyway, it was 330 to 270, sat 3 wide the trip and didn't feature, but there was good support. Rambling Rose was rock solid, 360 into 330, finished second. It was a good run. And then the O'Sullivan Scott team had 2 in the race. Sweet But Psycho was 440 out to 550, and Tiatu Dream, who finished in the money, was 16 into 11. So there was a nice push towards the horse that finished a little bit better. So just watch those ones. Sweet But Psycho's a mare that's always well backed. She was a losing result, but she was on the way out as Tiatu Dream was on the way in late, 16 into 11. I did try to alert customers there, but so Tiatu Dream led them or sat outside leader and gave a good kick, but Muscovado plus 25, the long shot home.
Race 4 and punters fight back. I think it's that Opie Boston factor once again. He was on board Diamond Jack. And, that I'm guessing punters did collect a wee bit here.
No, they did. He's a popular horse, and the win last time was good. He was 420 out to 460. Some of these markets, I say hard to follow, but they're trying to find the percentage somewhere, and no one quite knows where to find it. And even though Diamond Jack was extremely well backed, it just eased ever so slightly, 420 out to 460. Agera was solid at $3, didn't run badly, moved for drop or something, who I think they thought was going to be a sort of a pace influence in the race. 6 into 480, the Stipes report said. The jockey was of the belief it might have been feeling the effects of recent racing because it didn't feature. And What a Charmer moved again and ran well again. 14 into $10, but Diamond Jack minus 20,000, even though it was the slightest of eases.
Final race of the day at Matamata, unfortunately, was race 5. And Opie Boston goes back-to-back to finish the day. And I'm guessing punters would have loved to have seen the rest of the card because he was on a bit of a roll.
No, the fight back had begun, well and truly, because it was 3-0 to us, then it was 3-2 after Afterglow, who was $4 after scratchings and started at 205. Won. And to be fair, they got this dead right because Just a Tipple was 21 into 850. And you see some of these massive moves after a lot of scratchings where the marketplace has to completely recorrect itself to a degree. And some of those early prices look ridiculous when the scratchings come out and the heavy 10 comes into play. And so Just a Tipple ran very well. It was slow to begin, finished second. It was 21 into 850. And Miss Sellable for the Richardson Norval team to come out of maidens. It won on the track. It broke its maidens on the track and it beat Smart Tip that day. And it's a local, and it was 13 into 11, not a big move, but it was minus 100,000 Miss Sellable. So might be one to follow going forward. It didn't run badly. It wasn't far away from the place getters. But Afterglow had to chase down the tearaway leader Just a Tipple and did it well and did it easy in the end. And even though it was 4 into 205, it was sort of that move sort of came before anyone realised what was almost going on. It was a losing result, minus 10,000 Afterglow. Good one.
So overall, that short day at Matamata?
Plus 70. And as I say, the tide had turned. It was plus 60 for Smart Tip, plus 15 on Unstoppable, Muscovado plus 25. And then it was minus 20, minus 10 for Diamond Jack and Afterglow, but it was plus 70 in those 5 races for the TAB.
Okay, let's head to Hawera and see if punters can make a wee bit back there. Also, a track that was very, very heavy on the day. They did get through the whole card, though. Race 1 saw, 32 start maiden. Crafty Colin finally salute the judge. It was great to see, too.
So pleased.
How good.
The postman, Chris Dell, delivers, as does Crafty. I was geeing up Crafty on track so 1. I hope it's Crafty's day. He's just been finding 1 better or 2 better, but never running a bad race. Got his day in the sun, Crafty Colin, but he was 380 after scratchings out to $4 plus 25,000. Obviously, when you get to a 32 start maiden, support can tend to wane to a degree, even though he was riding commission there around $4. Surround Sound was the shortener for Nisbo.
Yes, indeed.
Yeah. And the ownership, Grant Nisbet, $4 into $3.10. It was minus 40. Black Sea went the other way for the Thurlow team and O'Malley. And, I think they thought no good on the track, but the marketplace sort of knew. And Ball and ran second to Crafty for Noel Quinney was 21 or 23 into $15. But, yep, congratulations, Crafty, plus 25, race 1 at Hawera.
Race 2 was for the 3-year-olds, and with the scratchings, only 4 went round. And the Peter and Trent Didham trained War Princess gets home, and it was the first. So I'm guessing punters were right on the mark here.
They were. What I'm going to talk about here is a bonus back race with 4 horses. And so we had War Princess, who was $2 into $1.70.
Mm-hmm.
And when we had 2 horses at $4, Belzoni and Tulsa King. And I think and we had a lot of money for both of them. Now I'm feeling like the general consensus there was, well, if we're getting bonus back second and third,
why don't I take
a slightly inflated price?
Uh-huh.
And if it doesn't win, I'll get my money back.
Hopefully,
because I think Tulsa King actually ran fourth.
Yep.
Yeah. But there was a lot of money for Belzoni and Tulsa King, but they both were easy late, 4 out to 5 the pair, as War Princess went from $2 to $1.70. Star 100 as well, the first starter for Susan Rainsford, was 10 into $7.50 late. So the push came away from both of them there. But because there was so much money, I think if this wasn't a bonus back race, we would have lost on War Princess.
Yes. Yeah.
But so that's what I'm driving at. But so it was plus 15,000 War Princess, even though she was the short of 2 into $1.70.
Race 3 and Trauma gets home with Sarah O'Malley aboard for Kevin Myers. Was this one of the ones that the market identified?
Not especially, because they had Royal Sovereigns in the race for Bill Thurlow again, and our timekeeper, I think, was in this as well, and that was taking money as well. Even though it was 328 to 350, it was minus 50,000 for Royal Sovereigns, but Cotton Rocker ran second. It was 11 into 850, but yeah, they didn't really find the Kevin Myers runner here, even though it was 9 into 8 very late in proceedings. It was plus 25, but that was all down to really Royal Sovereigns, who didn't run a bad race, just couldn't get the job done on that heavy track.
Righty-ho, race 4 and Piper's Son with Mediana Hudson aboard at around, double digits, wasn't it? So
certainly was a double.
Punters struggling again?
Yeah, they were here. This is probably one of the bigger results of the day. But they had identified it as a double-figure sort of race because the horses that were well-backed in the race were all at double figures. Keen on Bubbles was 15 into 11, finished second for John Wheeler. That was minus 50,000. Dorothy's Daughter was 21 into 10, back to 15, but minus 55,000. And then the biggest market mover of them all was minus 80,000 was Madam Zara, who didn't fire this time on the Hawera track, but it was 18 into $9.50. As I say, minus 80,000 there. So Bundy was the favourite. It was 3 out to 370. It did have solid enough support. It was easy late with all that action on the long shots. The one they didn't back at double figures, sadly, was Piper's Son, who was just hovering around $10 throughout, plus 65,000 with all that money spread in that, was it 65 Stayers event? Yeah, in the Stayers
event.
Yes, it was. Yeah, it was. Piper's Son plus 65.
Where are we? Race 5. It's the Egmont Cup. And the Fast Horses Syndicate, well, who knows, is a fast horse because he got the job done with Kate Hercock, and they must be very, very happy with themselves.
Yeah, they will be. New Zealand Cup in the offing now, how they sort of get there till, between now and then remains to be seen. Look, usually if who knows wins, we're in all sorts of trouble. That wasn't the case here. Now, she had come back from Christchurch. She'd had a bit of a gap in between runs, a quiet trial, then had to strike that very heavy track, not quite first up, but after a break. And then with an eye to the New Zealand Cup, the marketplace, I think, thinking she's going to have natural improvement. She's got to have natural improvement. If she's going to get beat today, will be the day. So those two things combined meant that amazingly she was plus 35,000 for the TAB. Again, they were onto these double-figure horses. Comedy, 18 into $8. It was minus 110,000. Royal Flower was 23 into $12. We know Royal Flower can do it on the day and doesn't mind those track conditions. And Tobias, who led them up and ran well again, was 11 into 850. So it's probably a race where they were boxing round the favourite, thinking it wasn't going to quite be her day today. And she did it easy in the end, to be fair.
She looked super fit.
She did, and she ran away. So, yeah, we know she's talented. It was just the marketplace thinking that if she was vulnerable, it would be in this race, and it just wasn't to be the case. Plus 35, who knows? A very unusual result to be winning on her.
Race 6, it was the Grange William Stud Taranaki Breeders' Stakes. Io Sasbomb with the mailman aboard. Here we go.
Here it goes again.
Yeah. So here's one that surely the market identified this one.
Well, they would have if she hadn't finished 7th first up and been underwhelming. I use that word a little bit, euphemistically. But she's a Group 1 mare. She's placed in a Livermore last year.
Exactly.
It was all there, and we talk about these, and Steve Hunt was talking about it on Saturday, and he's right because he's listened to me. These weight for age fillies and mares races get to the top of the book. They're all on this level weights, and the ratings are all with the top horses. So,
and with Meritori Molly scratched,
who was second? Yeah. So easy now and I think she was 550 into 5, and it was just that first up run. There were just question marks. The blinkers went on, and we saw the real Hio Sasbomb. And when she crossed the line and romping away with it, it was like, well, it's probably no surprise to see her do that. But they backed a few to beat her. Mary Shan was one of them. It was rock solid all day, Mary Shan. She found herself in front, which I don't know was a little bit unusual. And it was minus 60,000, 270 out to 290. Midnight Scandal, who was one of those horses up the top of the ratings, she was 380 into 340 and rock solid. And then a couple down the page that were backed and ran well, particularly Ra Reza, who I think is a follow out of the race. Won't mind a slightly improving track. It was first up. It was 15 into 11. It was minus 80,000. Went up under a hold and then just got bombed by Sasbomb.
Yeah.
And Canelo's the other one, second up. And Canelo won't mind an improving track off that. She certainly handled the soft range. She probably handles the good as well. And her run was encouraging, and she was 15 into 950. So I think Ra Reza and Canelo need to be marked down out of the race. But because of the money for them, Mary Shan, Midnight Scandal was plus 40, Hio Sasbomb.
At race 7, and Lady Performer with Amber Riddell aboard gets home at some significant odds. So I'm guessing another tough one for the punters.
Yeah, relatively. This horse always has its supporters, Lady Performer. It was 14 out to 15 plus 20. It was a winning result for the TAB, so no knock there. There's a few to back here. Librero was 480 into 450, minus 20,000. Gaza was the late mover and faded out of it. It was 7 into 460, and our Akashinga was 420 out to 460, coming off the synthetic, and there were always question marks there how they'll adapt, particularly when they cop a 10. So, but there was money around our Akashinga as well. One of the best backed horses, and it ran second, was Overdraft. I think it ran second.
Yeah, it did.
Yeah.
Yes.
They nearly got it right. 16 into 9. That was minus 70,000 for Overdraft. So good run, but Lady Performer got a win, been consistent, plus 20. But as I say, Overdraft was minus 70 in the race.
Final race of the day, and Arksy with Liam Cody aboard. Surely with some illustrious owners.
Yes, 2 from 2. 2 from 2, Arksy.
How good.
Yeah. And everyone's saying, I can't wait to see it get over the sticks. Well, don't worry about the sticks. It was just gone bang, bang, and beats a good horse, I think, in Ready Response. So it was 320 out to 340 Ready Response. Arksy was slightly easy but steady, 450, 460. I think it touched 480. Dupug finished in the money. It was 950 into 7. There was good support there. Tarzador was a mover, but it fell out of it, Tarzador. It was 16 into 10, though, for what it's worth. And Explosive Impact for Alan Sharrock, who I think finished 4th in the race, was very soft late, 480 out to $7. But With the money round ready response, Jupug, Tarzidor, Arksy was plus 30,000 in the last of the day.
Okay, Thad. Overall, it sounded like it was a tough day for horses. Yeah. Sounded like it was a tough day for punters at Hawera on Saturday.
No, it really was, Paul, to be fair. War Princess got home. Who knows got home, but it just wasn't the day that they wanted to be on her. So even when the favourites were winning, customers were finding it tricky. So, yeah, plus 255 at Hawera for the day. So, yeah, tough one. Tough conditions. Tough for everyone. Tough with deductions, tough for market setters, tough for me. Not that anyone cares about that, but just one of those days. So as I say, don't know what we do with it going forward, but we just come here to tell you how everyone's performed and whether you can find something to take out of it. And I think there will be something in that 20 minutes that we've had a chat about.
Okay, that's it for another week. We'll be back again in 7 days' time when we look at the meeting from down south, Ashburton.
Ashburton, yeah.
And, of course, it's the Group 3 Spring Sprint at Otaki as well. So a couple of nice meetings to have a look at before we head into some really meaty meetings in the next few weeks.
Yeah, the 18th of October, Paulie. Gee, they're talking it up.
Oh, geez. It's, what is it? It's almost like it's D-Day.
Yeah.
Gee, hey?
They've Car Ying Rising's trialled up today. If this is on Tuesday, we're taping this. So, it's all happening.
I'll tell you what, it'll take a classy horse to get over the top of Car Ying Rising, but it looks like they're putting together a very, very nice field for the Everest. Yep. And, of course, we'll have the Livermore over here up at Ellerslie, of course.
Yep.
And it's Caulfield Cup Day as well, so that's a couple of weeks away.
Yeah, you're not going to be here, are you?
Yeah, I've got a few things I've got to get done. So
I'm going to have to do this by myself. Poor viewers.
Yeah, don't worry about it. I'll be back next week anyway when we do have a look at Ashburton and Otaki. But for now, that's it from myself and Thad on the nose.